The 2004 film Closer, based on Patrick Marber's screenplay of the same name, offers a piercing examination of intimacy, deception, and loyalty. Four characters, one web of toxic desire, and at the center of it, whether she wants to be or not, is Anna. I find her the most quietly disturbing. Anna stands out not because she is the loudest, but because she's the most contained. She's a depressive, a photographer, a woman who doesn't steal people's lives, she borrows them. And that detail, borrowing, not stealing, is everything. Hello world, and welcome to Cinema Nostalgica, where we break down nostalgic hidden gems. In this video, we will go into detail about how Anna and Alice are opposites yet mirrors of each other, Anna's career as a photographer, her desire for filth and how she is amused by one's dirty habits, her obsession with strangers, her bad taste in men, and her depressive nature and inability to love. When we are introduced to Anna, it's when she first meets Dan. She has been hired as a photographer to take portraits of him for his newly released book. Dan's book is about his current girlfriend Alice's life. She is, quote, saying she stayed up till 4 reading and finishing the book about Alice and what I can assume her wild escapades. Something that Anna can never admit to herself that she wants that life. I say that Anna wants Alice's life because deep down I believe she envies her freedom, recklessness, and ability to live outside the boundaries of respectability. While Anna maintains a polished, controlled exterior, she is secretly jealous of Alice's wild escapades and the way Alice can openly embrace desire without shame, something Anna represses but still longs for, which drives her towards destructive choices, a concept that I will get into later in the video. We can only assume that the book is raunchy or explicit. When Dan questions her, asking did she not think the book was obscene, she actually called it accurate about sex and love. So how is it that Anna has a life where obscenity is known as being accurate and normal, but to the average person, it's obscene? Right there, we can tell the inner workings of Anna, how she probably had tumultuous relationships in the past. She gravitates towards obscenity and thinks that it's normal and relatable. What we know about Anna is that she was married before, she was separated when she first met Dan, and her husband left her for a younger woman. We also know that she might have been in an abusive relationship with one of her past partners. From what we know about Anna's backstory, her and Dan actually have a lot in common. Dan leaves his girlfriend for Alice, who we know is young. Was Dan's previous girlfriend older? We also see that Dan uses Alice's life to write a book, and Anna uses other people's lives and takes portraits of people to create art. She asks him almost slyly how Alice feels about him stealing her life, quote unquote. And just minutes later, Dan throws the question back at her, relating to her photos and her line of work. She says she doesn't steal, she borrows. That's her entire ethos. She borrows Dan, she borrows Larry, she even borrows Alice. But borrowing, of course, implies on the intention to give something back. And with Anna, what's returned is never quite the same. Dan and Anna had a connection. Before they kiss, Anna says, "I don't kiss strange men." I think she lied. Or maybe she meant to say, "I want to kiss strange men, but I don't." Or maybe she meant to say, "I want to kiss strange men, but I don't let anyone know that I do." Anna is enthralled about Alice before she even meets her. Alice might be everything Anna wants to be. When she finally meets Alice, she says to her, "You've had quite a life." And in her subtle tone, it doesn't seem like it's admiration. I think Anna envies Alice's rawness, her certainty, and her past wild life. Alice owns her past. She's not ashamed. She owns it. She knows who she is and is proud of it, unlike Anna, who seems tainted and damaged by her past decisions. Alice's ability to say, "I'm a stripper," and not flinch, or even say things like, "Yeah, I'm a waitress." Her ability to say these things and without being embarrassed about it is something that is very new to Anna. Anna is always behind the camera and seemingly not really sure about herself, even though she is extremely successful. Anna is always watching and collecting the stories of men and women who live more fully than she does herself, which is why Anna has a fascination with strangers. It may be because of this fascination with strangers that she and Dan kiss for the first time. When Alice joins the pair at the studio, she knows something is up and confronts Anna. But instead of talking it out, Alice says, "Just take my picture," while she is crying, and making Anna look at her dead in the face as she is confronted with how she made someone feel. Alice knows Anna is a thief. Anna says she's not. But we know better. And maybe she's not a thief. She just borrows. Anna's profession isn't just a detail. It's the blueprint for how she operates in life. Her job as a photographer is more than a job. It's her entire way of existing. She captures people without participating. She frames life without living it. She stands behind the lens and lets others fall apart for her. Her profession is no coincidence. Photography is about framing, editing, and distancing. Anna observes. She curates. She never jumps in fully. Think about all the portraits she has in her studio and art opening. All strangers, but no pictures of herself. She'd rather stay behind the lens. She captures intimacy without actually participating in it. As a photographer, she captures other people's stories, their pain, their beauty, but always from a distance. She's behind the camera, not in front of it. She steals moments, frames them, curates them. And that's exactly what she does emotionally as well. She borrows people, their affection, their desire, without fully offering herself back in return. And after all of this, after the confrontation of Alice blatantly saying, "Hey, I just heard your entire conversation with my boyfriend. I know that you kissed. You guys have been flirting." Even after all of this confrontation where Anna sees that her actions are hurting someone else, and after Anna takes her picture and actually displays it in a gallery, after all of that, she still decides to pursue Dan and carry on with an affair. There is a visual language between Anna and her counterpart Alice, or should I say Jane. Alice's real name is Jane. Anna is clean, minimalistic, successful, the kind of woman people assume is quote-unquote put together. She doesn't smoke, she doesn't explode, she doesn't demand. Alice, on the other hand, is chaos, volatile, dirty around the edges, moves across the world with no suitcase, without a job, with no money. She doesn't have it together on the outside. Anna doesn't smoke, Alice does. Anna is calculated and quiet and melancholy, and Alice is loud, impulsive, unpredictable, crazy in love almost. Seemingly the polar opposite of Anna. They are two women wearing two masks. Alice is wearing a mask that she is naive, but emotionally she's very mature and sure of herself. Anna is emotionally immature, wearing a mask of sophistication, certainty, and maturity. The difference is that Alice knows she's performing. Alice is known to put on a persona. We know that she is using a fake name. They are mirrors of each other and opposites. Alice plays a character, but her inside is real. She can give and receive love genuinely, while Anna tries to play a morally accurate person, but inside, she's morally corrupt. She is tethered to a life that she doesn't want, while she has an urge and a desire for the obscene, the filth, and the smut. Anna's relationship with Dan is complex, to say the least. The fact that Dan is using Anna's name, her place that she goes to frequently, using her likeness in a chat room, this is glazed over in the film a little too much for me. In my opinion, Dan is either imagining her doing these things, or it's a metaphor of what Anna wants to do herself but can't. She is living vicariously through this online persona that someone else created for her. This further shows that Anna really isn't living the life she so desires. Other people are living it for her, and conveniently she just shows up to exactly where she needs to be at the exact same time, as seen when Larry comes to have relations with this so-called Anna that he met in cyberspace. And what I find really interesting about this entire scene with Anna and Larry when they first meet at the aquarium is that Anna low-key carries on the conversation like nothing. Larry says some really sexual and filthy things to her, and instead of being grossed out or freaked out, she just sits there, listens to it, and entertains the conversation. Larry, at this point, is a stranger, telling her he's a doctor, he's got surgery soon, so they better hurry up. She's sitting there listening to all of these filthy things that this man is saying. She's amused by this. So with Anna's infatuations with strangers, we actually see that maybe she is living out this fantasy that Dan put forth in the chat room. I also find it funny that she knew it was Dan who was the practical joker all along. Anna admits that she's not interested, but she finds Dan interesting. Anna is amused about what Dan has done by using her name and sharing the address of the place that she frequently visits. She calls it a practical joke. And even Larry is a little confused, saying, "Why would he do that? Why would somebody do that?" She said, "I think he likes me," and smiles. And even Larry is confused, like, why would he not just buy you flowers? Even Larry knows something is off with this entire situation, but he is not a saint either. He seems sex addicted throughout the entirety of the film, meeting strange women for sex, and I have to wonder why Anna would want to be with Larry, a man who, in between surgeries, is meeting random women on the internet for sex. Why would Anna be entertaining this man after she knows his intentions and how he even got to the aquarium? Larry, at this point, is a stranger, and yet she decides to go for a walk with him, dates him, and ends up marrying him. This is the man she decides to marry. It's just odd to me that Anna chooses to be with these type of men. And again, this is another example of how she loves the filth. At her art gallery opening, this is when she and Dan kick off their affair, and this is also when Larry and Alice meet for the first time. Another thing that I find it interesting is when Alice questions his relationship with Anna, and Larry says it's paradise. All of my nasty habits amuse her. This is a profound statement, and it proves my point that Anna is unable to love purely. She is attracted to the filth, one's dirty habits, not the love and the sincerity of a healthy, stable relationship. She is disloyal. Dan admits that he has been stalking her. Anna admits that she kind of knows, and again, she is amused by it. She doesn't tell him to stop. She likes the toxicity, the games. Her emotional immaturity is showing. She is carrying on and entertaining this while the portrait of Dan's crying girlfriend, which, let me remind you, is due to their affair, is hanging on the wall of her art show. Perhaps the most revealing moment comes when Anna refers to Dan as Cupid. She reframes the man who has stalked, pursued, and manipulated her not as a creep, but as a romantic figure. This rebranding speaks to her tendency to repackage ugliness into something palatable. She also rebrands Larry from a creep who meets strange women for sex into a husband. Why would she be okay with being with and then marrying a man who picks up random girls from the internet and wants to have sex with them in between surgeries? At her opening, Alice sneaks off with Dan. Dan says, quote, "I'm your stranger. Jump." Further proving Anna has an obsession with strangers, being with people who don't know her, getting lost with people and not finding herself, not knowing herself. Just think of the definition of a stranger. It's someone who you don't know and they don't know you. And this is a very comfortable space for Anna to operate in. Anna is selling pictures of people and borrowing their lives. Are the models getting paid? Sure, it's her art, but it all feels somewhat deceptive, which is very on brand for Anna. She's also a stranger to these people and plays the stranger role very well. This may be the reason why she is attracted and opened up to Larry. He was a true stranger for Anna, sent there with dirty habits to amuse her. It's all a continuous theme. And this is when I believe Alice's theory about the gallery in itself. The photographer takes a picture of someone who is sad or miserable, puts it up in a frame. Everyone says that it is beautiful, but in reality, that person is not going through something beautiful, which means that it is a lie. And I do feel that Anna capitalizes on lies, living in an area of deception, not only with her partners, but within herself. She is living a lie. The outside is beautiful, but inside, I do believe she is really struggling. The visual world of Closer also needs to be discussed. Given Closer's origins as a play, it's no surprise that the film feels enclosed, almost suffocating. Most scenes unfold in confined spaces: apartments, galleries, hospitals, strip clubs, aquarium. There are no wide landscapes, no open fields, so they stay inside themselves, inside rooms, and inside loops and destructive cycles. Similar to fish swimming in an aquarium. They can only go from one side to the next. There's no greater world for them out there. And I have a sense that these four people are so engrossed within each other that it is hard to look at the outside world. We see many destructive cycles and circles in this movie. Alice repeats the cycle of loving, then leaving without closure. Larry repeats cycles of paying strange women for sexual pleasures. Anna repeats cycles of choosing the wrong men, And Dan repeats cycles of not knowing what he wants and not being satisfied, thinking the grass is greener on the other side. Remember, he did have a girlfriend when he met Alice and left her for Alice. And actually, literally ended up circling back to the beginning of the movie where he finds Alice's pseudonym. I am going to do a character analysis on all the people from this movie, so be sure to subscribe and get notified because my next video will be on Alice. The toxic cycle of Anna and Larry's relationship is palpable. Anna is cheating with Dan, and Larry tells Anna that he hired a prostitute while he was on a work trip. So Larry does treat her poorly, and she knows this. She is very accepting of this. Again, I think she wants to seem very normal, but there's no shock with her. There's no disgust. It's just acceptance. Of course, we know that is because she has been carrying on a year-long affair with Dan, but I also believe it's because her desires are even more taboo than Larry's, and that says a lot. As discussed, Anna doesn't love. She doesn't truly care. She only likes the filth. There is a quick scene where Larry tells Anna that at the Paramount Hotel, all the beautiful people there, the busboys, the waitresses, everyone there who is beautiful, they're all whores and prostitutes. And Anna responds like, well, everyone knows that. Is this a self-proclamation? Is she grouping herself into this category of people? Again, there's no shock, no disgust, just acceptance. And my question is, how does Anna know that? She's either living a double life or hiding from her own truth and her true desires. During the confrontation with Larry and Anna, Anna confesses about her affair with Dan. Larry, being the self-proclaimed caveman that he is, wants all the filthy and explicit details of their sexual relationship. Anna mentions that Dan is softer with her, and Larry treats her like a whore. And I think that is who she wants to be. After all, she does end up with Larry at the end. She flip-flops between quote-unquote loving Dan and Larry. And what I do question myself is, why is Larry's cheating and deception feel less emotionally riveting than Anna's infidelity with Dan? As soon as Larry confesses to cheating, she immediately says it's fine. It's only when Larry questions her reaction to his infidelity does she admit to being with Dan. Again, a victim of circumstance, but not definitely choosing who she wants to be with. Larry says, "You're phenomenal. You're so clever. Why did you marry me?" And then Larry asks a gut-wrenching question. "We're happy, aren't we?" Anna says nothing. She just looks down. She believes she doesn't deserve happiness, and Larry even says that. Then Larry delivers one of the best lines in movie history. She doesn't know what she wants, or rather, she only wants what will undo her. She seeks destruction. And the moment that things start to feel stable, she self-destructs. And that's the depressive talking. That's the woman who needs sadness to feel like herself. She's exactly what Larry calls her, a depressive. And he's right. She doesn't want happiness. She doesn't believe she deserves it. Every time her life gets too calm, too safe, she burns it down. Not loudly, like Alice, but with a quiet match behind the scenes. Anna separates from Larry, not due to his infidelity because she is seemingly okay with it and his dirty habits, but because of her attempt to sabotage her chance at happiness. And as a result of her contributing to the affair with Dan, she burns down his relationship with Alice. We assume she is getting a divorce from Larry, but we discover that Anna never sent off and signed the divorce papers. And I think she always knew she wouldn't, even when she told Dan otherwise at the opera. Because Anna doesn't really choose anyone. She doesn't choose Dan, not Larry, not even herself. She lets the wave of other people's desire carry her from one shore to the next. And she just floats along, half drowning and half detached. When she meets up with Larry to sign the divorce papers, he gives her a proposition and actually asks her to be his whore for the night, to sleep with him one last time. And instead of backing down, she accepts. And when Dan confronts her, she doesn't deny it. She doesn't lie. And Dan is actually a little taken aback by that, asking her, "Why wouldn't you lie to me? You knew that it would upset me so much. You could have just lied to ease the pain for me." She just says, "If you love me, you'll forgive me." Because in her mind, love is supposed to end in ruin. That's how she confirms her own belief that she is unlovable and not deserving of happiness. She gives up her body and thinks that Dan, her current partner, should just get over it. This is not love. It's like Anna has a dark pit inside of her, which doesn't allow her to be loyal and behave in a manner that will cultivate a healthy relationship. She sabotages relationships with people she says she deeply loves and cares for. Later on in the film, we hear Dan comparing Larry and Anna's marriage to the love that is like between a dog and its owner, and Larry agreed. So, does Anna love anyone? I don't think so. She performs love, she performs guilt, she performs regret, but none of it sticks. The others, Dan, Alice, and Larry, they twist and writhe in the mess of what they've done. Anna just folds herself into silence. She's a ghost of a person, a woman who captures life without ever fully stepping into it. She is a depressive in a glass box. You can see her, but you can never really touch her. She'll borrow your love, frame it, admire it, and walk away. She's not innocent. She's just less theatrical in her damage. Like her photographs, she captures an image, not the essence. Her art, much like her love life, is about control without confrontation. All of this just makes her an incredibly dynamic character that a lot of people might have overlooked when you first view the film. So thank you all so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end of this video. Please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.